Welcome to Human Travel Guides. Today I'm going to be taking you on a tour of the Chedi Hotel here in Andermatt, Switzerland. I'll take you on a tour of the room. We'll talk a little about why the hotel is here in the first place. I'll take you on a brief tour of Andermatt, Switzerland itself, and talk a little about what you can expect to do during your time here in Andermatt, Switzerland. So, with that said, let's hop in. So one of the first questions you might have about the Chedi is, why is it located here in Andermatt, Switzerland? And that's a great question. So about 20 years ago, the Swiss Army, in the early 2000s, the Swiss Army closed the army base that they had here. And the army base had been here for decades. It was kind of like the lifeblood of the town. And so when it closed, the town kind of needed something to prop it up. They needed something new to reinvigorate it since the military had left. And it turns out there was an investor who realized that Andermatt is in the middle of all of Switzerland's major towns. Literally smack dab in the middle. There's already great skiing here. There's a lot of land since the army had left. And so he decided to buy up said land and attempt to turn Andermatt into kind of a skiing resort destination. And spent, I think it was over 1.3 billion Swiss franc to build the Chedi. And it's enormous, and it shows. But as a result, what's interesting is that around town you'll see there's actually quite a few new hotels that are popping up. There's a new golf course that just opened up that's open year-round. So they're trying to make it more than just a wintertime destination, but there's this whole industry that's popped up to kind of support where the Chedi started. And it also extends to the town itself. So there's actually more to do here than what you'd think. For example, right now I'm walking through what could be considered downtown Andermatt. And, you know, it's about maybe a 15-minute walk from end to end, but it's filled with shops, it's filled with restaurants. So with that said, let me show you around town just a little bit. So the town of Andermatt is basically one long main street, and it's the street here behind me. So down this way, you'd have the Chedi, and back over this way, you'd have kind of some more shops and restaurants. At the end of that street, there's another hotel that kind of bookends it. There's a fair amount of stuff to do here, even if you are, again, not a skier, not a golfer. There's tons of stuff to walk around and do. There's a surprising number of restaurants. I feel like they don't all show up on Google Maps, because when we were planning our trip, I only saw like 2 or 3, and I was a little worried. But there's actually, probably at least 10 to 12 different restaurants that I've seen so far here. There's tons of stuff to do, some stuff to shop. If you're into that kind of thing, there's all kinds of gift shops. A lot of them do kind of focus on sports stuff. So if you wanted to go skiing, there's all kinds of active wear stuff you can buy here. What else? You also have the basics available to you. So there is a grocery store here. It is a Sunday. This grocery store is closed on Sundays, which is good to know. But it has pretty much everything you can need. You've got, it's a standard European-sized grocery store with, snacks, drinks, food, meat, cheese, name it, it's in there. So you can go there. There's also behind me here, there is a gas station. This is the lone gas station in town that I've seen. So keep that in mind if you are driving into town. It looks like it's closed on the outside, but you can actually use the pump. I found it out the fun way. So has all the essentials for daily life in terms of if you're spending a few days here in Andermatt, there's no shortage of things to do, no shortage of daily necessities that you can fulfill here. So we're now standing inside one of the Chedi's 55 guest rooms. I'm going to take you on a tour of this room. I'm going to start at the beginning as you enter the room, and then kind of go section by section, show you the whole thing, tell you what I think about the room, and then tell you my thoughts on this trip and Andermatt as a whole. All right, so when you first walk into a room at the Chedi, you're greeted with this nice little entryway. It's like a little foyer to greet you into your hotel room, and it's just a nice way to enter the room. So this is the foyer, the entryway area. As you can see, it's pretty welcoming. You've got 2 little hooks to hang your bags, your clothes on as you come in. You've got a table over here. The table has some books. It has 2 guides, one in English, one in German, to the town of Andermatt. It's got a book from the leading hotels of the world who operates this property. Then over here you've got some buttons. These buttons control the lights in this room, so off and on. You can control the intensity of the lights with these buttons here. Then down here, you've got a power button. This is handy if you were just leaving the room, so maybe you're leaving for the afternoon and you don't want to have to go through and turn off all the lights individually. You can just press this button and it'll turn off every light in this entire room, as well as the fireplace. And then, as is common in most luxury hotels now, rather than something you hang from your door, you now have a button, you press Do Not Disturb, and a little light goes on outside to let housekeeping know that you do not want to be disturbed. And then up here, you've got a thermostat. You can control the temperature of the room, obviously, the fan speed. I believe you're supposed to be able to see, there's a camera actually outside of the door here, right here. Yeah, above the Do Not Disturb light. But that camera, I believe you're supposed to be able to see it through here. I could never get it to work. I could never figure it out. Whenever somebody would ring the doorbell, I have no idea. And there's not a classic peephole here. So if there is a way to see it, that'd be great. I thought it was this little icon with a person and a door, but apparently not. So yeah, so that's the foyer. So really nice entryway, really nice floors. And you can see here you have, these are stone, just like the bathroom. So you don't have to worry if you're coming in with like wet boots from skiing, you don't have to worry about getting them in the wood. So yeah, so that is the entryway. So let's move on to the living room. All right, so we're now standing inside the living room of this beautiful hotel room. And the first thing that hits you is just how big this room is. I mean, it's enormous. This is the size of like 2 or 3 New York City apartments put together. It's a massive, massive room. So let's see, I'll take you guys around the room here. All right. So again, we're here in the living room. And the first thing I want to talk about is this table. I would say it's one of the 2 big centerpieces of the living room. The table is quite large. And as you can see, it's got a bunch of stuff on it. But what's nice is you have these 4 pillows underneath it. And these are for you to sit on. So you can sit around the table, have food, relax, have a glass of wine. These pillows are incredibly soft. They're just very soft, very plush, very comfortable to sit on. I could sit there and kind of pet those pillows all day. They're great. So you can sit on those. You can see on the table itself, you've got standard affair. You've got, here's the guest information book. One thing you'll notice too, because this is Switzerland, is a lot of these things are going to be in German and in English. So this book, for example, the first half is all in German, the second half is in English. Then you have your in-room dining menu. Now this in-room dining menu is arguably one of the most elaborate room service menus I've ever seen. I mean, just the number of things you can order at any point is amazing. They have a lot of Asian-inspired dishes. They have a lot of Swiss dishes. You can tell they have some that cater more towards like American tastes. I think it's 22 pages. It's a very long menu. But so yeah, so this is the first centerpiece I would say, is this table here, this nice little sitting area. It's also sitting on top of this nice rug. It's a very, very soft rug. Very well made. And then the table faces this, which is the fireplace. And I would say this is the other big centerpiece of the room. So the fireplace here, it's not on right now, but it is an electric range, electric fireplace. Gives off a little bit of heat. I will say I was surprised. It does not give off more heat, but it just adds a nice level of warmth to the room. It just is a nice little thing to sit here, especially if it's snowing outside. You can just sit here and kind of relax in front of this nice fireplace. Above that, you've got your TV. TV actually pulls out and rotates. So you can see, and you can rotate it any direction you want. You want to have it face the bed, you can do that. You want to have it face this way, you can do that. So, quite nice. And then just push it back. One nice thing about this TV, which leads me over here, is you can actually connect stuff to it through several of these ports in the room. So here along the side of the wall, you've got a series of outlets. This one has a USB port, USB 3. It's got an auxiliary input, so if you want to play music, and then also has an HDMI input. And so when you're on the TV, you can press a button and you can quickly switch. So if you want to have your computer plugged in, maybe you have a camera, want to plug that in with a mini HDMI thing, you can do that. And then you also have 2 Ethernet lines right here, and then 3 power things. And you can see here I've got my power adapter plugged in. And then that brings us to this couch here. So this couch is the back of the room, and you can see it's an enormous couch. It sits below this really amazing photograph here of people skiing on some of the nearby mountains. It's very soft, very comfortable. Nice place to sit and watch TV. Up here, you've got 2 Bose speakers. So you got one there and one over here. And these can actually output either the audio from the TV. So if you're watching TV, you can have the sound play on the Bose speakers. Or if you use this little guy here, you can actually plug in your computer or your phone if it has a headphone port or an adapter, and you can play your music through that. So that's a pretty nice touch. So that's the living room. So one more thing I want to touch on in the living room here is this fireplace. Now, if you're like me and you come in, you'll notice there's no switches, there's no buttons, there's no physical way to turn this thing on. There is an iPad that is next to the bed. This iPad controls the entire room. So swipe to unlock here. There's actually a button that you can use to turn the fireplace on and off. This also allows you to control the room temperature. So you can turn the air down, turn it on if you want to. Also allows you to control lighting. So you can turn the lights for all the rooms on and off. The blinds can also be controlled with this. And then finally, you can also control the audio, which is going back to those little ports on the side of the walls that we talked about earlier, where you can plug your phone in, plug your computer in, whatever the case is, so you can kind of pick what audio source you want to use. But this tablet is very important. It is how you control everything from the fireplace to the lights to the blinds to the curtains, everything. So make sure you keep this charged. There's a charger next to the bed. iPad is available in multiple languages. By default, this one was set to English. So iPad, very important during your stay here. All right, so moving on to the bedroom, which is really just kind of a continuation here, obviously, of the living room, but still a little bit of separation. So you've got your spa menu, all kinds of information about the Chedi today. It's a Sunday, so they had a champagne brunch that they were advertising. And the bed itself, incredibly, incredibly comfortable. The mattress, I don't actually know what brand it is, but it's very, very soft. You've got a mattress, you've got a pillow topper. It's not memory foam, it's made out of feather down. More pillows than 2 people could ever use. It's a very comfortable bed. One of my favorite things about this room, and I think it really adds just a lot of great lighting to it, are these lights here along the wall. And these are actually kind of engraved with little pieces of art. Almost reminds me of like an 8-bit art style. I know that's not what this is, but it kind of reminds me of that. You've got your nightstand, which has phone. You've got buttons to turn the reading lights on and off, turn the room lights on and off. And here, they give you some postcards that you can send. There's some paper, a pen, the usual fare. You've got your slippers. At the foot of the bed, there's a very large trunk. So you can open this trunk up here. It's huge. And it's lined with a very, very soft material. You can put stuff in. Very nice. So you can sit on it, you can put stuff in it, whatever you want to do. On this side of the bed, you've got the number for various things, room service, reception, concierge, all that fun stuff. Got a phone. And then you also have another one of the inputs. So you can actually plug in your phone, HDMI, USB to whichever one of those outlets you want to use. Reading light. So very nice bed, very, very, very comfortable. And again, it just looks great. I really love the lights. It's just a very, very nice place to come relax at the end of the day. While we're taking this tour, let's talk a little bit about pricing. So the Chedi is not an affordable hotel. This is definitely a luxury hotel. It is definitely a splurge hotel. It is something you do to celebrate. My wife and I are here for our 10-year anniversary, so we are here kind of blowing it out. It's great, but it is definitely not an affordable hotel. There are other hotels in the area that are more affordable. They're 2- and 3-star hotels. This particular hotel obviously is a 5-star hotel, and it has a 5-star price point. Prices range anywhere from $500 to $900 per night, depending on the type of room you're getting. So just kind of be prepared for that. That said, pricing is not quite as crazy as you might think in the town of Andermatt itself. So if you want to go out and get a pizza for 2 people, you're looking at about $20 to $25. Pasta dish is about the same, $20 to $25. Some items are more expensive. So hamburgers, for example, I've seen anywhere from $28 to $35 for a burger, fries, and maybe a pickle. And then things like the in-room dining menu, this little guy is expensive. So if you're dining in the hotel itself, be prepared to spend. So prices there, a cheeseburger I believe is $46. A pad thai dish was about the same, $45. Pasta dish was $35. So if you're dining, you are definitely paying for convenience. The food is great, but just be prepared that it is not cheap. That said, this little mini bar area here is actually one of the more surprising things. So all the drinks here on the bottom, any of these non-alcoholic beverages are actually available complimentary. So they don't charge for those. So water, soda, tea, juice, that's all free. Then up here, you have your alcohol. You also have more alcohol up here. These little guys, like this Hendrix Gen, according to the menu, I believe this was $25. So they get you on those. But for the most part, as long as you're not raiding the mini bar and you're not ordering room service every single day, it's not quite as expensive as you would think. It's definitely expensive, but not outrageously expensive. Moving on to the bathroom here. This bathroom is great. Wonderful tub. It's pretty deep. Tub has both the regular faucet, also has a wand, quite nice. Next to the tub you have this little guy here. This is some oil that you can put, there's a little tea light under there. You can light that, have some, it has a nice little aroma to it. So you can sit in the tub, relax, get a massage if you want. Over here you got your towel rack, a hamper, so you can put dirty clothes, dirty towels, whatever in there. You have a robe you can put on. And this is the shower. The shower is just awesome. There's not really another word for it. It has this wonderful stone on the side. You can see the drain there, but it's huge. I mean, there's my foot for comparison. I mean, this thing is just, it's enormous and it looks great. It has 2 different kinds of water outputs, so you can use the wand that's there, or you can use the waterfall shower. So it's just great. One strange thing is to turn this off, there's not a button and there's also not an audible or tactile click. So what you have to do is you have to kind of rotate this, and this toggles between the waterfall and the wand, and you have to find just the right balance in the middle where that does not come on and that turns off. Minor annoyance, kind of strange. Usually there's like a click or something to note that you're turning it off, but the shower is just fantastic. I could probably spend an entire vacation in there. Then over here, have your water closet. So this is the toilet. This toilet is toilet on the side. There's bidet. Not only is there a bidet, you can press a button and a remote comes out and you can select what you want the bidet to do, which is crazy. This room is also large enough that it has a table in there, which is crazy. I mean, this is such a large room for basically a water closet. Trash can, a phone. Personally, I always find the phone a little weird. I don't know who's sitting on the toilet talking on the phone, but you can do it. This toilet paper, very nice, very textured. Yeah, so that is the toilet. So moving on from the water closet, you've got your sinks here. Pretty standard affair. Very nice countertop. The Toiletries, Acqua di Parma. And they have body lotion, conditioner, shampoo, shower gel, you name it, you have it. Box of tissues. This little thing, which is shower cap, vanity kit. There's an emery board in there. The mirrors are interesting. They have these little X's on them, which I feel like kind of throws back. I've noticed this is kind of a recurring theme throughout some of the architecture here, both at the Chedi and just some of the surrounding architecture within Andermatt. Let's think. You've got power outlet on both sides, mirror. And then over here is one of my favorite things. So let's say you're sitting in the tub, you're relaxing. You can actually flip these open like so. And then if you wanted to, you could be relaxing in the tub, watching either TV, the fireplace, open the doors, whatever you want to do. But it's just a nice little touch. So you can sit in there, relax in the tub. This door does close, but it's good to know if you're traveling with children or other adults, whatever the case is, it's not completely private. So no matter how you close it up here, you really want to know the people you're traveling with, because they can pretty easily just pop their heads in there. So just something to note. So that's pretty much the bathroom. Moving on to the closet here, you've got standard affair. You've got a safe, a bunch of drawers. If you need a space to hang your clothing, you can do that here. See a suitcase rack, suitcase, basket. Could never really figure out what this basket was for. This basket's just here. It's just empty. It's just hanging out, but it's there. So that's that. One interesting thing, inside the safe, they actually give you a power adapter, an international travel power adapter that you can use during your stay, which is kind of a nice little touch. So you've got that in there. And that's it, and then you're back over here. So the last thing I'll talk about, and I'll take you on a tour of, we're gonna go outside. I'll show you what the balcony looks like. All right, so before we go outside, I wanted to talk a little about these buttons here and what they do. So you can see here, you have a gorgeous view from outside, but maybe you don't want to wake up in the morning and just have sun blinding you. So each of these doors actually has two controls here. You press them, one of them lowers a nice shade that will help to block out the sun. I'm gonna put it back up here. And the second one lowers a set of a white material. It's like a curtain, basically. It's lowered. So this one does not really block out the sun, but it's good if you just want some privacy while you're in here. It's also nice if you just want to open the doors, maybe not have to worry about birds or bugs, whatever, getting in here. You can put those up. So that is on both of these doors, as well as these windows here. These also have their own buttons that you can use to lower from here. Windows open, you can pull it up like that. There's a little release over here. Pull it back, and you get a nice little breeze. Same system here. Pull once, do not pull all the way up. I don't know what it's supposed to do, but when you do, it basically kind of comes unlatched at the top. I'm sure there's a purpose for it. I don't know what it is. If you're like me and you do that, you think you broke the door. Pull this little latch up, open the door, and now look at that. Now you've got a nice view of the outside, breeze coming in, feels great out there. So now that we've got the doors open, let's take a peek outside, and I'm going to show you probably my favorite part of this whole hotel. So this is the balcony here at the Chedi Andermatt, and this is my favorite part of this whole hotel. Look at the view. You have a view not only of Andermatt, but a view of the surrounding mountains, the rest of the Chedi property. It's just amazing. And this is such a great thing just to wake up and be just steps away from. You can just go right from your bed to this view in about 5 seconds. The balcony itself is quite nice. So you have chairs here, you've got a table, the fireplace that you see from your living room is also visible out here. One good thing to note, it doesn't give off a lot of heat. So if it's cold outside, it gives us a surprisingly small amount of heat. So just keep that in mind. One other thing to keep in mind that we discovered the fun way, if you are on one of the top floors, up here, where you got your, at the top of this roof line here, you will notice there are markings. And you might be able to guess what this is. But these are bird droppings. Birds love to sit up there. Every night since we've been here, birds will sit up there, and they're big birds. And so sometimes you'll see they make a bit of a mess. And you might also be wondering, why is the mess they make purple? And apparently it is because somewhere out there are berries that they eat during the summertime and turns their byproduct a different color. But beyond that, everything else is great. You can sit out here, relax. I've spent basically every single night we've been here just sitting outside watching this amazing view transpire. So the balcony is pretty great. It's definitely my favorite thing in this whole hotel. I could sit up there and admire that view for hours. So that has been a tour of the Chedi. These rooms are lovely. I absolutely adore them. I could stay here indefinitely and never leave. The last thing I want to talk about is getting to Andermatt. So Andermatt is a very small town. It's a little over 1,200 people, total population. So there's no major airports here. You're pretty much looking at two ways to get here. The first way, if you're flying into Switzerland, you're going to fly into Zurich International, and Zurich is about a 90-minute drive from Andermatt. So just give or choose. Sometimes there's snow, it could take a little longer, but overall, you're looking at about 90 minutes from Zurich to Andermatt by car. You can also get here by train. There is a train station. The train takes a little longer. Train is about 2.5 hours, and I believe you have to change trains once from Zurich. So I don't know where that change happens, but train does take a little longer. You could argue you're going through like the parts of the Swiss Alps on a train, which sounds pretty awesome. So just take your pick. The roads here are awesome. We're here in early October, so there's no snow to speak of yet. During the winter months, Andermatt does get quite a bit of snow, but my understanding is they keep the roads regularly plowed, cleaned, so I don't think you'd have a problem getting here. In terms of parking is available here on site. It is 30 Swiss francs per day to leave your car here. It's valet, it's open 24 hours, so at any point you can go downstairs, tell them your last name and your room number, and then we'll get the car for you. So those are the primary ways you get here. You're looking at either driving, taking the train. Once you get here, there's a lot to do, a lot to walk around, a lot to see. So that has been my review and a brief tour of the Chedi, Andermatt, Switzerland, as well as the surrounding town of Andermatt. I really cannot suggest this hotel enough. It's a wonderful hotel. It's a wonderful destination. There's tons of stuff to do here in Andermatt. Even if you are like myself and you're not a skier and you're not a golfer, there is plenty for you and me, folks like us who do not want to risk life and limb, to go out and do. So highly suggest coming out here. It's definitely not a cheap hotel, but if you're looking for a place to disconnect and kind of splurge for 2 or 3 days, you'd really be hard-pressed to do better than the Chedi Andermatt.